Ladies and gentlemen, gather round. Have you ever heard of the CitiCar? No, it's not some futuristic car from the Jetsons, nor is it an electric vehicle that's got every modern feature we've come to expect in today's vehicles. Instead, it's the slightly, maybe more than slightly awkward-looking electric vehicle that made its debut way back in 1974 during the first oil crisis. Yeah, we're talking about a time when gas stations had more lines than a popular nightclub, and America was desperately trying to avoid bankruptcy from gas prices that were shooting up faster than a rocket. Now, I have to admit, when I first laid eyes on the CitiCar, I thought, this looks like something you'd find in a cartoon. Just add a few sound effects and a funny voice and bam, you've got yourself a new character. But no, the CitiCar was real, and it was sold by the thousands right here in the US. Think of it as the underdog of the electric vehicle world, with a body shape that could only be described as interesting. It was a tiny electric car, barely longer than the average man's reach, and had the acceleration of a turtle on a Sunday stroll. But hey, this thing wasn't built for speed. It was built for practicality and a whole lot of quirkiness. Before we dive into the specs, hit that subscribe button. If you think this car is something, wait until you hear more about what the world of electric vehicles has to offer. Now, let's break it down. The CitiCar was powered by a humble 2.5 horsepower, 1.9 kilowatts motor, paired with a 36-volt battery pack made up of 6 individual lead-acid batteries. It didn't have the power to rival a Tesla, that's for sure, but what it lacked in speed, it made up for in efficiency. This little vehicle could reach a top speed of 25 to 28 miles per hour, 40 to 45 kilometers per hour, making it the perfect option for short commutes. And hey, it wasn't like it had to compete with the Ferrari crowd anyway. The CitiCar was pretty compact, measuring only 8 feet, 2.4 meters in length, and weighing in at 1,303 pounds, 591 kilograms. That's lighter than most modern motorcycles. And with an all-aluminum chassis and bodywork made from impact-resistant Cycolac, fancy talk for hardened plastic, this car was built to handle the bumps and bruises of city life. It had a range of about 40 miles, 65 kilometers, on a single charge, which could be replenished in about 8 hours from a standard wall socket. No fancy charging stations required. The price? Well, it was affordable. At 2,700 United States dollars, about 17,500 United States dollars today, it was a steal. That was until the car's next iteration, the SV48, which got an upgrade to a 48-volt battery pack and a bit more power, about 3.5 horsepower, 2.6 kilowatts. With the top speed boosted to 34 to 38 miles per hour, 55 to 61 kilometers per hour, this model gave drivers a little more pep in their step. Or in this case, a little more zip in their wheels. But it wasn't just about speed. People were looking for a solution to the fuel crisis, and the CitiCar delivered. By 1976, it was the 6th best-selling American car, making waves even as bigger manufacturers scrambled to catch up. Now, if you think this little electric marvel couldn't get any stranger, think again. Sebring Vanguard also produced a variant called the Comuta-Van. Yes, a van version of the CitiCar. It had a 12-horsepower, 8.9 kilowatts motor and a 72-volt battery, and it could top out at a blistering 50 miles per hour, 80 kilometers per hour. They even made a version for the United States Postal Service with sliding side doors and a right-hand drive setup. I'd like to think the mailman looked like a secret agent zooming around in it, but who knows? Production continued until 1977, with about 2,300 units rolling off the Sebring Vanguard line. Then, in the early 1980s, commuter vehicles took over and kept the dream alive with the rebranded commuter car. Though it was small, slow, and not exactly the most stylish ride on the block, it sold by the thousands. The CitiCar was the best-selling electric vehicle in the United States between 1945 and 2013, beating the Tesla Roadster by nearly 2,000 units. Talk about an underdog. Before I wrap this up, don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you think the CitiCar is a fun piece of history. You can thank me later when you're cruising through history with this quirky electric vehicle.